Man, let's do this, man. There's a lot of information right here.
I know
I'll
this
tell
is
you.
an
Imagine
outline.
if back in the day, I used to imagine you have to go back and read your own writings instead of your own typings. I'd be like, what the fuck did I say? What did I write?
How do you pronounce this?
What the hell was I trying to say in this one?
Oh, I know. This is a meaty
Yeah,
outline.
man. Yeah, man. Of my random blathering thoughts.
It's got to be a movie
Oh, you
more
know
than a
what? The only thing
podcast.
I think I changed the meme,
Okay.
but I didn't show you what the meme was anyway. So
No big deal.
you'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Let's talk about
Everything else
the
is
meme.
same. All right. About to get ready. me. Unique New York. That's right, boy. CZALEO knows it all, boy. Live episode 16. Once again here with my boy Matty Boy. Tell us on the ones and twos, letting us know what's up. I'm here today with a very special guest. We're gonna have a great show. No hablos, no hoes, no hablos. It's a special. That's right, boy. That's your boy CZALEO rapping on the ones and twos. Happy to be here. Welcome everybody. I have a very special guest, Miss Irene Quevedo.
Hello, bienvenidos a todos.
All right, bienvenido. She's a very special guest. She has a very successful podcast called the Level Up Latina podcast. She's going to tell us all about that soon, right? We're going to get to know her today. She's going to chime in and, give her thoughts. She's somebody that I think knows a little bit more than me, so I'm a little nervous today. But we're gonna see what's up today, okay? So, like always, right, our show is brought to you by La Suprema, by myself, CZALEO, by TGN Radio Network. We're very happy to be here. TGN Latin X, Latino with an X at the end. All right, shout out to everybody out there. We're happy to be here. Let me show you our stuff like I usually do. Okay, so today's monologue of the day is going to be Civil War. Is that where we are headed, right? There's a lot of things going on in the country these days, right? There's a lot of different ideas, right? The people that are in charge, right? All the rulings and everything that have been happening. What do all these things have in common, right? The border, Roe versus Wade, Donald Trump, LGBTQ, guns, CRT, BLM, Messi, Ronaldo, pineapple on pizza, you name it. You know what those things have in common? There's two things that people are never going to agree on. Never, right? Two sides of the coin that are never going to see the same, right? Although I still got that picture up, my bad. Let me take that picture. So when I'm wondering, right, what really makes me wonder what I really feel, because I know that we've definitely been in a culture war the last couple of years, right? And I feel like, are we getting closer to a real war, right? If you're a student of history, I consider myself to be one. I feel like there are many signs to it, right? People are getting attacked, right? Politicians are getting attacked on the street. People are finding out where people's houses are, right? There's violence going on, right? It's also like, it almost feels like a setup, right? The way that the country's going, it felt like the right was on its way to a sweeping victory. And this is just the worst timing to come up with this decision that just came up, the Roe versus Wade one, right? Which, whether you think right or wrong, it just makes me think like just another thing to conflict upon, right? More shootings, right? It's almost like we're being cooked up, and really like it's getting more and more extreme, right? I feel like there's a lot of signs that we're headed towards a national divorce, because really there's a lot of ideas, like everything is a reaction to the extremes. I think most people find themselves towards the middle, but like what happened right now, there's going to be another extreme reaction on another end, right? And that's where we keep going, right? Like, how did we get here, right? Through the idea of identity politics, right? To me, this is one. It's just like it's always a group. What's the new group? What's your new? Why are you being done wrong, right? We couldn't. It's always black police brutality or immigration. Now it's like, we're taking away gay rights, and now we're taking away women's rights, right? So it's like and it's like I feel like they're just doing. They don't really care, right? It's always just to stir us up, right? Just right when everything is peaceful, we got to get stirred up again and to do whatever they're hiding or whatever the real agenda is, right? And a big part of this show is we're revealing. I don't know what the real agenda is, right? But we're asking a lot of questions and we're trying to get to the bottom of it, right? Now, one thing I always ask is how do we get here, right? I think that there's ideas that have been planted within the school system of what's the word I'm looking for? Social cultural Marxism, right? Which I think has been slowly creeping in, right? It's something that creeps in looking nice, right? Like in rainbows and all that stuff looking really nice, but it's really a change of an attack on the family system and on tradition and something that I think is maybe if I'm not dangerous, but at least to be acknowledged, right? I feel like people, if you even acknowledge that, you can't even question. No, I question everything, right? Good or bad. there's bad actors in everything. And if we're going to be in charge, one of my big arguments, if Latinos, Black women, we're going to be in charge, we have to be able to call out our bad actors. Otherwise, we're not righteous, right? So I feel like they're playing with us, right? And I feel like it's always, and the terrible thing about identity politics, that it's a race to the bottom, like, right? Like one thing with Black folks, right? If I can say this, right? Black folks, your history is not a series of tragedies, right? The way that Black folks are taught today is that their whole history is just a series of tragedies and things that happened to them. No. There's a rich history of Black folks in Africa. Haiti was the first country to be free. There's a lot. I can't even begin to say it, right? Your story, that part of even the American part of that's the tiny part of the whole entire story that for some reason is the narrative, and that's not the narrative, right? And now it's everybody wants to rate. Now we also get, well, we're the ones that this happened to us, right? And it's hard. And then it also happens on the other side, right? Because then the other ones are like, we're all being replaced. Like, what I'm saying? They're trying to take our place, right? And then, they're all just, everybody's godless heathens, and, we're trying to protect our kids, right? And, everybody has their argument, right? So it's something that I feel is scary, right? Another thing that worries me is like us as older millennials, right? Like we've lived the good times, right? We're like a generation of people, like people went to my boy Hank, man, shout out to Hank. He went to Iraq, right? But it wasn't like a generational war. Like it wasn't like we weren't getting drafted, right? People did go to war, right? But we didn't live. And I worry because I'm like, man, we feel like we're like, if you're, 60 and younger, man, you've lived in a great life. You lived in the best time of earth, in the best time ever, with the most things of all time, the most technology, the most food, the most ideas, the most social freedom, the most upward mobility of all time, right? But at some point, like the most people who've lived in life have suffered. Life has been suffering and conquering and war. Like, are we going to see it late? I'm worried, right? I worry because I always say the biggest virus is ideas. Ideas is the biggest virus. Those things spread like wildfire. Bad ideas too, right? And it's just something to question because that's how everything starts. There is not one socialist movement that they all start with the idea of we're all the same. Take down the rich, equality, and they all end up in death and murder by the millions, right? Now we can say we've learned, we haven't, right? But at the very least, we should be able to acknowledge it, Now, what I would like to see is solutions, right? Like a solution, is great unifiers, right? One thing that we're really lacking these days is great leaders. I think a great unifier is somebody who can come and tell the sides of everybody, right? What I think would be great, right? But it's hard to find. So here's some pictures. I'm sorry, I picked just kind of the drugs, man. Things going on. Or we had a civil war. I'm sorry, I work hard at these, so I want to show. Okay, so that's the monologue of the day for me today. I'm gonna let Irene and Matthew kind of chime in. Let me know what they have to say. What do you think about that?
War is extreme. That scares me. I get what you're saying about the politics on both sides hurting us. Mm-hmm. We're in the middle. Mm-hmm. We're being played. I get that 100%.
Right.
War feels too extreme to me.
You don't feel that. You're not feeling those any vibes.
I do see that things are dismal. I don't feel it scares me like it scares you, Caesar. Right. Absolutely, it scares me like it scares you. I just think that cooler minds are going to prevail this time around. I see what you're saying about the last 60 years being good years. Like we're kids from the 80s.
Right.
It was good times. It was different, and I feel like we are coming into our own right now in a way that is more divisive. Very, very divisive, and it is scary. I don't see war coming, but I do see the division, and I want to work against that.
Because I know that, because one thing about Irene, because we're on very different wavelengths, right? Well, I'm sure that we have different. What's the word I'm looking for? Like we're
on different sides of the aisle.
Yeah, we're on different sides of the aisle.
Many topics.
Right? We're very, 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 but we're mad love for each other, right?
Absolutely.
Respect, right? So, but I guess you see different worlds. So I guess in your world, in your echo chambers, that's the word I'm looking for, right? My echo chamber is one, your echo chamber was different, right? Like in my echo chamber, you see rumblings, you hear you hear it more and more, right? And like I said, that's how things start. They start slowly, right? Mm-hmm. Then one thing happened, and like I said, it's not going to be like Civil War of 1865, right? It's not going to be like the North and the South. It's going to be balkanization. It's going to be 17 sides. Yeah. It's going to be the Montana regionals versus the Southern. It's going to be
a country divided,
which would be terrible, right?
In many pieces. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So something to look out for, right? Something that I think people should start thinking about, and or starting to try to figure out before we get there, because I don't want to get there, right? Yeah. I do not want to be in that world. I think people don't understand the seriousness of those things. A lot of people these days, I feel like a lot of people these days are playing war. They're playing revolutionary.
Yeah, dangerous.
We're gonna talk, and then they don't really know violence, and violence is actually terrible. If you know violence, it's not something that you want any part of. All right, so that is our monologue of the day. the Civil War. All right, thank you everybody. Log into the chats. Thank you for being here. And once again, I'm here with Irene Camelo. Let me make sure I got the chats open here too.
Hey, the monologue's over. I get to chime in.
All right, now Irene is in fully. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the news of the day. Okay, the everybody's favorite segment. I'm here. CZALEO, Cienfuegos, Burgundy, Quevedo, Mariachi, Gonzalez, Godinez,
Noticiero.
Galdames, with my co-host Irene Sanchez Quevedo.
Loved it.
All right, my co-host. All right, so we're gonna talk to the news of the day. The number one news of the day is gonna be this, right? It's gonna be the abortion, right? Roe versus Wade. Let's get into it, right? We might have to come back to it, right? There's a lot of sides, right? There's a lot of things. A lot of people are not happy about what's happening, right? And I think we should, do our part to I'm going to do my part to shed lights on both sides of the aisle, what people believe, right? Because right now there's a lot of emotions, and I feel like there's a lot of also overreactions, right? But one thing that I will say though that does is just the memes. Like it's just the memes are just out of control.
Oh
I'm
no!
gonna play some offensive ones.
Oh no!
But they're just funny, man. You know. And just these events, that's what they do. What I always look forward to is the me. Look at this one, dude. Whatever aisle you say, this is funny. Look at this. Look at
compadre?
this.
Ay, Dios.
Look at this, dude. That's hilarious, dude. Right? Like, come on.
Those are white babies.
But yeah, exactly. Okay, so what is on the woman's side of you, right? Because this is kind of what we call it a guy show, but everybody watches, right? But how do you feel about this? How does this issue make you feel? Is this a terrible thing, or is it something necessary?
Isn't this interesting, compadre, that I'm here this
time, week of all
this
weeks?
Week.
Yeah,
we planned to be here a couple of weeks ago, of all weeks.
I was like, oh man,
it's gonna be hot. I'm devastated, and I'm devastated because we said a prayer right before this, and I love that. I love that. I have religion on my side, but I just don't believe that I'm the gatekeeper of people's choices. Right. I've never believed that. On our podcast, we had a really great episode in September about the war on women's rights, and I stand by that. I think there's a war on women's rights, and it might be that alarmist mentality that you think is like overreacting, overreaching, but I'm worried. I'm worried for this country in that respect, and I'm hearing a lot of heartbreaking stories around what this decision is doing. A lot of stuff coming out of the New York Times that's really good about what this is doing to women, and I'm devastated.
Okay. I understand. Like one thing that the biggest argument that I have is that it's an argument, right? One thing that I don't like is there's very much people who are like, no, it's absolutely this way, right? Like to me, it really comes down to this. Is it a necessary evil or is it a moral good, right? Mm-hmm. Is an abortion one of those two? Is it a necessary evil or a moral good? Right, I can have the argument of it's a necessary evil. I understand, like you said, there's heartbreak. Its world is very gray, right? The problem that the side of the other side of your side says is that you're trying, but I won't buy it as a moral good. It's jumped the shark to like now it's become, now it's sold as as a moral good. Like it's actually when I think that as a society, that's dangerous to do that because life is life, that's what it comes to. Like, I can have the necessary evil argument, and then I feel like it was just trying to, everything always goes too much, right? And it's just maybe, is it really? I don't know, because I feel like most people are with like, there has to be a medium, right? And like, one thing I don't like about the argument about, because I think like words are powerful, is what I would say, right? The argument about like a woman's right to choose, right? What that does is just totally shuts it down. What that does is like you can't even talk, that's what I don't like about that argument, right? Because the other argument is there's another life, which it's hard, right? There's more than one life, but also like it just takes away them. Like if it assumes that men just totally don't care, what I'm saying, and that's not true. Like what I'm saying, I think that men do care. Men do, they should, what I don't like is just a very like you can't like if you don't fall to it, then you're just no. It's like a gray argument is what I always try to say.
It's interesting though, because if only the women on the Supreme Court had decided this. Then I hear you. Like they get to decide for themselves. I know, you're saying there's men involved, but they're not in our shoes. They're just not in our shoes. So as much as a man can have an opinion about, not to alienate you, says that in no way, because I'm very respectful of that. But I do think it's just a stronger issue around our gender and our gender identity and us being born as women. This is like our fight. This is our right.
But or like the right, like you said, or like the idea that it's like this is what I also like weird to me, like the idea that it's like healthcare. Right, like they're like, okay, like a baby's not cancer, Like you're not removing. I'm sorry, you're not removing a cancer, right? You're not
right.
removing a sickness, right?
Yeah.
Like, uh, it's just great. Like now, and another thing is too, like I feel like once it goes, because the truth is like it's not even over. Like it's very much goes back to states' rights. And you know who was really like a proponent of, because here's another point I want to bring up. Like people always say, like, because there's always like the boogeyman of the Christian white man. Like, you know who led it though? It was a woman and a black man.
Yeah, I hear that.
It was a woman and a black.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
And you know who
I'm not a fan of this man.
And you know who was a big proponent of this? Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Really?
On the legal, look it up. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because it imposed, because the thing is that this is a law that the Supreme Court doesn't lay down law. It reviews things. But this was a decision. So, like, if you go down to the legal technicality, right? Which is it's like a legal argument.
I get their argument is that there's nowhere in the Constitution that abortion actually exists. I get that that's what they're using as the argument.
Like, so it's like when it goes to, and then Ruth Bader Ginsburg was she's like, that's so. What I just tell people is like, hopefully it gets you to move, like, because once again it goes to state, like here in California, right now, or this is another thing that gets me going. It's like blame. Like, dude, you guys have all the power. You have all Democrats have all the power, all the media, the vice presidency, the majorities, and you're inefficient. Democrats don't do any. And then right now they're like, the Christian right. No, your people, you guys always drop the ball. Yeah. And how come people aren't mad? Or Joe Biden.
I'm here for Bernie Sanders. I'm here for Bernie.
If you should be the maddest, because they always rob Bernie. They always rob Bernie.
AOC in the house. I know. Right. I hear you. I'm not with either side on that argument, Caesar. Right. I don't go either way. I'm about, equality in a lot of ways. And I think I know what's coming is there's going to be a lot of inequality at the end of this thing. It is a haves and have-nots. It is a poverty thing. This is where I'm on the side of the right. Where I agree in capitalism. I agree in having money. I think more money for our people, black and brown people, fixes this issue.
Yeah,
they get
upward
to travel.
Mobility.
Yeah, they get to go to another state. They get to go to another country for an abortion. It becomes a non-issue. I think it's the poverty that we have to be fighting against with all the politicians, every side. We need to control more wealth. Right. That's what I believe.
Well, is there any positives, like another way? Like, is can maybe romance be coming back? Will people maybe make better choices?
Maybe.
Well, but will chivalry come back?
Was romance dead?
Yeah, I mean,
chivalry's not dead in my house.
But that's my house either. But I'm not in the dating. From all the dating people, it always seems to be very terrible.
Yeah, times are tough. I wouldn't want to date right now. Hell no.
Okay, so we'll dip into that, and then we'll squeeze this time for a little bit of more music. Then we'll probably go back to that when we have some time. Okay, so thank you for
handled that well. We didn't there's no blood, awesome. There's no scratching.
We made it. Okay, so one thing I want to touch is this guy Andrew Gillum. He was the big candidate that was going against DeSantis in Florida. He got locked up. He was a big, and it's crazy to me how he doesn't get covered. Right, he's another like example of how the left. Or the media just always protects, right? And that's something that bothers me, that I do not like, right? Another piece of news that's going on in the world that I wanted to kind of touch on was the thing that happened with YG and Tyga. They're like looking at a video, dude. These dudes are bloods, man, and they're up there cross-dressing,
Yeah,
in a dress, like
they're whack.
That what I'm saying. I feel like that's unacceptable.
I know how that makes you feel.
Because there's also the argument about
Bad Bunny vibes. I know how it makes you feel.
They always make like a black. They always remember they had like another black man in the seat. You got to get in a dress, like it's just like. But it's also like they're gangsters. They're not like, if they were like artistic artists, that'd be one thing, dude. But they're like gangster rappers.
But hey, gangsters in prison, all bets are off. Right. All bets are off.
That's
so they're emulating what's on the inside, real gangsters.
I don't know, man. I found it a little bit sus. Okay, I found it a little bit sus. Let me see.
I know that was not your cup of tea.
It was not my cup of tea, man. Let me touch on this, man. Christian Bale's coming to LAFC apparently. And I just like to let you guys know that it does not matter. Galaxy will still work out y'all consistently. Okay, you can bring Christian Bale.
He's handsome though. That matters.
Hey, okay, you can bring Christian Bale. You can bring anybody. You can bring Ronaldo. You can bring Pelé from back in the 70s. LA Galaxy still number one. Boy. Oh, and another thing I'm excited is Arch Manning. He signed to Texas. Are you a sports fan, Matthew? Well, he's a college football. He's the Mannings, Peyton Manning's nephew.
Who they are. They're like a family of football.
Dude, I'm a big fan of the Mannings, man. So I can't. I think I'm gonna become a Texas fan right quick, man. I want to see them do well. It's exciting stuff, man. So if anybody knows about college football, look out for Arch Manning taking over the scene. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the meme of the day, and it's this one: 7 TikTok dances you can do to say.
Oh, do it right now. Do the dance right now.
The reason I picked that because that's really what's gonna happen. Like, that's the world that we live in today. Like people will do it. Like, like when the nurses were out there for the vaccine, it's like it's just like the ridiculous world we live in today. Like people will do that. You know what I'm saying?
But do you have a TikTok?
You know what I did, but I haven't done nothing with it. Yeah, I finally gave in and I opened up an account and I put like one, and then I got scared and I got my account.
I have one to spy on my 11-year-old.
Nice.
It's got a lot of restrictions, y'all. Don't come at me.
Right. Okay.
She can only do so much, but I'm the only one that's on there watching her.
Okay. Tight. Yeah. It's TikTok they say is weird, man. So yeah. It's a heck of a rabbit hole. Okay. So that's our news of the day, everybody. Our current events. Thank you for checking in. Now you're caught up to what's happening around the world. All right. So next we're gonna move on to a big segment that people like around here called "If I Ruled the World." Okay. So we'll let the intro play.
Such a good song.
Yeah, man. So if I ruled the world, right, this is something that I would change if I could, right, or I would address immediately, right, in the CZALEO kingdom, right, CZALEO land.
Put this dance on TikTok. Okay? Put this dance on TikTok.
Yeah, okay. There you go. And then, so what I would do is I would celebrate all women. Okay, celebrate all women. Right now we live in a time where women say that they're about celebrating women, they love women, right? But I feel like that's a big lie.
Really?
I feel that it's only a certain type of woman. I'm gonna put up pictures of certain women that get no love.
Oh.
Michelle Tafoya. She just left ESPN. She was recently attacked by Dan Le Batard, right? He kind of ambushed her because she's now on, she's kind of leans to the right, right? She was a Super Bowl in the year, professional, just the epitome of a pro, right? One of the best out there, right?
In an underrepresented industry.
Candace Owens.
Oh,
Candace Owens.
Sticky.
No, Candace Owens, right? If you don't agree with her, she's brilliant though, right? But Dave Chappelle could go on there and say that her pussy stinks, right? And everybody, yay, right? Nobody cares, right? Nobody defends her. Kaylee McEnany, when she was up there, a fire spitter, you know what I'm saying? Smart, sassy, elegant. My wife knows I have a big crush on her, dude.
Okay. It's okay to call her pretty. It's okay to call her pretty.
Dude, but she's just intelligent, right?
Yeah.
Condoleezza Rice. A black woman, high Secretary of Defense, Harvard educated, was up to be the NFL commissioner. Brilliant. A brilliant woman.
I think she's celebrated.
Okay. Sage Steele recently got fired from ESPN, right? She also leans to the right. They destroyed her, right? And this is the new woman who got elected there in Texas. She's her last name is Flores. I forgot her name. I'm sorry about it. But her last name is Flores. She just got elected. She's born in Mexico.
Oh, beautiful.
Elected as a Republican, and she flipped the Democratic seat, right? How come they don't get the full treatment? How come I don't see them on Cosmo? Right? You know what I'm talking about, the full treatment, right?
Yeah.
When you start moving, you go on The View, you're on Cosmo, you're on Vanity Fair, you get the interview, you get the beautiful spread. Oh, they do another spread that has nothing to do with you, but you just put on the clothes for this other magazine, right? Nothing. Crickets, right?
You want her to have the AOC treatment. You want her to have that. Yeah.
It's celebrate them all.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get a variety of women.
Trans women? Can we celebrate trans women too?
I mean, you can include them, I guess, right? You can. Right? They can't play sports. They can't play sports though. Okay, I'll meet you halfway. Yeah, we can celebrate them, but they can't be out there dunking on my daughter. All right? But yeah, okay. Celebrate them all.
Celebrate them all.
Like, even though, why is it only one side of the aisle? And that's what it is, guys. Notice, right? Like I'm telling you, we're all accustomed, right? And a lot of people are trained like, okay, I know that if you're on this show and this show and this show, you're part of this. You're part of the what's the word I'm looking for? The it starts with an A. The agenda, the narrative. I'm sorry, the narrative, right? People are like, if I watch Channel 7, like these are the real people and these are the bad people, right? And it's just like it sucks. I wish that everybody that it will be spread around, right? That people who are leaned every way would get covered, right? Yeah. And it also goes to like, I don't know. You know what I kind of feel like is coming up? I don't know. You tell me you're a woman right now. I don't know, right? Because, women's numbers are up in like bad categories. Depression, right? Loneliness, right? Divorce, right?
I think it's always been that way. We just have awareness now. I think there's always been depression in our community. I think my mom battling on her own, single parent, 6 kids,
Well,
kids dropping out of high school. She was depressed. She was anxious. All her kids are
Right.
anxious because of it, but we didn't have words for it then. We didn't have help for her. She had a language barrier. I think it's always been present. We just now have the awareness.
But is it well, because now it's like, now everybody is like, what I guess the argument was like, we celebrate one type of, like, we don't celebrate the woman, we celebrate the, in a way, like the whore, right? Which I don't mean as an actual
I
whore,
hear
but
what
like
you're
as a
saying.
symbol,
Sexy,
right?
yeah.
Like, it's like, the symbolism,
yeah.
right? Like, the hero is like always the woman who's we've been like, the birth pill and all that stuff. Like, this goes to the same argument, right? We've just started living this new life, right? And we've only really, like, just like internet, the pill was only snapping like in the 60s, right? We don't really know the results of this, right? Now, if you look at certain trends and stuff, maybe is there an argument for going a little traditionalism, or where we going, like, is progress always progress? Is where we're going really 100? Are you convinced, or is there an argument for women to some traditionalism?
I get what you're saying. And I think you and I have had this conversation a lot because I have a business. I am a CEO of an organization, but I'm also married. I have kids at home. I wanted to be married. It was important to me. I wanted to have that church wedding, even though it was 7 years too late for my mom. And that kind of wasn't what she wanted. I do think there's something to be said for that traditional path. I just don't want it to like trample on someone trying to be modern and different and say women don't want to have kids, and they proclaim that. Like, I want to embrace that, even if you and I don't get it. Like, I know I don't get it when someone says they don't want to have kids. That doesn't mean I know what's right for them. Right.
No. See, and I get you, right? One of my arguments is that that's the correct. I feel like at some point everything kind of jumps to far. I feel like now everybody's the other one, right? Like now it's flipped, where like the girl who didn't start a family was kind of like, oh, like everybody was like, I'm the cool tia that travels. Now there's like 35 cool tia, like they're all not that cool. Like, let's be honest, right? Someone it goes through levels of cool. Like, let's be honest, right? Like, I like Irene is an exception to the rule, right? But she does many things that, she's like crazy. But starting a family, like, there's like, sometimes people I feel like are sold the lie that you can't have it all. Like, you can have it all. You can't have it both. And there's like something to it, right? It's just like, I feel like it's totally sold the other way, right? We're gonna pull it. We got 3-minute break, and then we're gonna come back.
You got it.
But we actually got a couple of seconds. But thank you, all right, everybody. Thank you for logging into the chats. Download the app. Here with Irene Quevedo. We'll be back to get to the great freaking movie of the week, all right, which you're gonna like a whole bunch, I'm sure. Thank you, everybody. Listen to the commercials. They are the best products that anybody's ever sold.
Bravo.
Buy a lot of them. All right. Thank you, guys.
Are you single and ready to mingle? Well, you may not be, but now here's your chance to purchase an all-new 30-day journal, Single and Not Quite Ready to Mingle. A 30-day journal to make the most of your single season. It's by me, Chanel, co-host of Brunch with Besties show. You can purchase your journal right now on Amazon by typing in Single and Not Quite Ready to Mingle. Now is the time to do the work. I'm rooting for you. Go ahead and purchase your journal now. Single and Not Quite Ready to Mingle, a 30-day journal to make the most of your single season. Are you ready?
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mysterious Jax from Ladies Night Radio Show. That's right, the entertaining, fun show with cheeseman, hot topics, and just all girl talk. This show is for the ladies, so make sure you catch it every Friday at 7:30 with me and my ladies, only on TGN Latinx.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit is coming.
The Podcast Pit is coming. It's back, Jax. Have you heard? It's back.
Michael, what are you talking about? What's back?
The Podcast Pit. It is returning Monday, May 23rd. Brand new venue.
Oh my God, the Podcast Pit is back. Exciting. Where's it at?
It's going to be at Joxer's Daily at 7:30 p.m.
I know where that's at. That's at 11168 Washington Boulevard in Culver City.
So, Jax, will I see you there?
Oh, you know it, baby.
What's up? It's your girl Gina Views. Make sure you are tuned in to Ladies Night every Friday at 7:30.
Hey everybody, this is Mala Munoz, creator and host of Marihuanera, a podcast for potheads. Make sure that you tune in to Ladies Night Radio at TGN Latinx.
Fee Fi.
Fo-fum.
You already know what that means. We're live from the den. Devontae Green, proud founder and CEO of the Giants Den, also co-host live from the den.
Yes, indeed. Danny Crumble, co-founder of the Giants Den, also co-host from Live from the Den. Excited to engage in these conversations.
Yes, leadership, self-improvement, real conversations that Black men have or need to be having. Tune in Monday nights, 7:30.
7:30.
TGN Talk.
And it's only one way to end this powerfully. 1, 2, 3.
Salute.
Hey everyone, it's the Primos Chidos.
Hopefully you're enjoying this show, but if it sucks, be sure to check out our show, live Thursdays at 12.
Yeah, join me and my sister and basically my brother as we discuss everything from immigration to ejaculation.
If that sounds interesting, then we're the show for you.
Warning, the following podcast features discussion of sensitive topics, graphic content, and uncensored stupidity. Unless otherwise stated, the featured content is not
That sounds interesting, then
Clean fade in a fat pocket. Don't trust the fool that ain't jocking. If they ain't hating, they ain't watching. Not 18, she is not an option. Ben's go show me not a monster. Famous last name.
Oh no.
You got a mouse. All right, man, and welcome back, everybody. We're back on the show. We're back at it. TGN Latinx, CZALEO knows it all with special guest Irene Quevedo for the Level Up Latina podcast. So we're here today, everybody. Now we're going to get to another very popular segment in our show, which is the great freaking movie of the week. All right, man. So this movie is very special to me, man. This is a great classic movie that is, I'm going to play.
Take a look in.
Really know what it is. Here goes.
Hey, take a look in the mirror, Will. Does it snow in LA? Does a white boy get a Via Placaso? No, you don't. You do this to people in
Blood in, blood out. Bound by Honor. An LA Hispanic person classic.
Yes.
Okay? I got my boy here, Guanaco King, busily from Baltimore. First thing he did when he got out here, he never been out here, he went to El Pino. So mad respect. That's some shit I would have done, dog. It's just you know what? I'm gonna split this up in two, man. The movie's actually so long. There's so much to talk about that this is gonna be part one. Okay. I actually got to meet one of the actors, the actor of El Mero Mero, I think Guillermo Enriquez. He's just it was cool, man. It was great to meet him. I'll have some clips of him next week. But this movie to me, it's like the best Cholo movie ever. Like it's the epitome, right? It beats American Me, right?
Yeah.
The biggest difference that I think why it beats American Me is just like American Me is dark. When you watch American Me, you're like, I never want to gangbang in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like totally pointless. You know what I'm saying? When you watch Blood In, Blood Out, you kind of get it, right? You kind of understand. Like you can see the beginning. So we're gonna talk about the beginning today. You know what? My battery's gonna run out real quick, so I gotta plug it in. Have you watched the movie, Irene?
I've not, but I'll talk enough about something I want to say.
Right.
So Benjamin Bratt was in
Oh,
this
that's
movie, and I know when I was growing up and people would ask me who my crush was, I would say him, and not enough people knew this movie or knew him in it.
Right.
I had to wait until he was in that Miss Congeniality with
Sandra Bullock.
with Sandra Bullock to, finally get my time, because I really wanted people to know who he was. I find him so sexy.
Right.
And I think he did a really good job. And I agree with you that American Me is dark, and that this movie, I remember seeing the coolness about it. Like there is coolness to the inclusivity and being in a gang. And I know there's so much that I would not want my kids to do.
No, it shows like the
and
brotherhood.
that's one of the things. But yes,
Yeah, it
like,
shows like brotherhood.
it's like
You know
a
what I mean?
frat and a sorority.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fraternity. I don't want to call it a frat.
Right.
It's like the precursor to that. It's your
Right,
community.
yeah, and it was like everybody
saw
had the
that.
gangbang back in the
Yeah.
day, right? So no, and then Benjamin
Survival.
Bratt, he was the heartthrob
The
that came out. So
daddy.
let me play a couple of other clips that are
Play
classic. in this
him,
movie,
play
right?
him.
Oh, let me what I got. You know what? No, I love this. One of the stars of this movie is the bad guy, this fool called Spider, man. This fool Spider is so intense, dog. He's such a funny actor. This is when they look at this scene right here. I'm gonna play it right now.
Spider.
What are you in a hurry for? You got a date or something? Let the homeboy get down. Get down, demon. They can't bust the grape. Can't kick no dust shit.
They can't bust no. He's like, let the homeboy get down. Like he's all like he's fucking into it like the devil, dog. He's like, oh, Forget these fools.
Spider had some hair too.
He got you know what I'm saying? He had to go. And then so the plot is that Miklo, he's this white boy. He's half black, half Hispanic, half white. He goes to Vegas. He fights with his dad. He comes back to East LA to the neighborhood. And then so one clip I want to show it. He goes back to live with his cousins, and then they're all about the locals. He wants to be about the locals. He's always wanted to be. That's the gang. They have an enemy called Tres Puntos, right? So in the beginning, it shows how they all how they got into the gang and how they got into trouble, right? Because eventually he ends up going to jail, right? And then that's the second part of the story, right? So I got some clips here of them. So there's one that I wanted to show that it kind of goes to our. Let me see, where is it at?
In the daylight, it's Sunday. Are they gonna be going to mass, pendejo? I got some poison for a spider. Who are you fighting? In the daylight, it's Sunday. Are they gonna be going to mass, pendejo? I got some poison for a spider. Who are you fighting? Tres Puntos!
That's right.
In the daylight, it's Sunday. I like the country, ese.
I'm gonna build myself a righteous pad here. Swimming pool, white picket fence and shit. Hey, Joker! You gotta find Mamacita Holmes! Mwah! Save me some!
It gives me help.
So he's crazy. So they end up.
Hurry up, ese. What are you gonna hurry for? You got a date or something? Let the homeboy get down. Get down, demon. They can't bust the grape.
We homeboys, right, man?
Fucking ladies, lose rules, vato.
Wanna go to the hospital? People die there!
Puro Ricochet! Fucking Huda in this town is sick of do Chicano, you thought.
And then so then what happens is they get down. That fool Spider is dead. So they have that beef in the alley, right? So then he returns and he ends up beating up Crucito, one of the three main characters, and they put him in a coma. Right, so then that's when he goes, man, we're gonna back on Sunday. So then Paco, he's like the leader, Benjamin Brad, he's like the leader. He goes back and he gets revenge for his cousin. So then these fools were there celebrating around. He's like, I'm gonna build a righteous pad here. That's it, right? So then, but then Crucito comes up, but then Paco comes and he catches that fool slipping.
What
Right?
do it, say? Cáele, homies. You gotta pay your dues to me, pinche mamon. You wanna throw down, puto? Come and get some. Cáele.
That fool Spider is a trip, dude. He's always like crazy, right? But it's funny because that fool Benjamin Brad, he's like the hero, man. He's like, you know what? Like if you're a Hispanic kid, you want it to be him.
Yes.
Because he was like, he boxed.
Or with
him.
him.
Yeah, he was down, right? If you were like, I'll be honest, I'm like, damn, I wish I was like that fool, you know?
Let's see what kind of man you are in daylight. What's the matter, Spider? You were scared of me? I'm gonna catch you on the fucking rebound, punk. I'm gonna squash you like the PJ bug you are. Come.
The uncle was that fat fool that showed up at the end. You could tell I was like an extra. Like, why is that bad? That fool was not a cholo, right? It was funny to me, right?
He was the man that was working the catering thing, and then it all worked out.
Yeah. So then you know everything gets all messed. There was this girl. I'll show the clips next time. But this girl, I thought she sold the movie for me, man. This one girl, she had a bunch of little funny scenes. Let me see.
Yes, where the women.
Oh, here's the most famous scene that.
We homeboys, right, man?
Fucking ladies, lose rules, vato. Gracias, okay?
Simón. White bitch, give me some chon chon. Stay away from me. Give me some chon chon.
That's a scene that everybody always repeats, man. It's like the hardest. So that's what happens. So in the beginning part of the movie, they end up they beef with Spider that day. They end up beating him up, and then Spider always goes too extra crazy. He starts shooting, and then Bingo shoots him back, and that's when he does the Chicano U-turn. They escape, but then they end up getting caught. So then that's when their lives change, right? The three friends. It's Paco, Miklo, and Crucito, right? Oh, so this is another scene that I want to show that I think is important because, like I said, when Miklo gets back, he kind of has nowhere to go, right? So then he goes to see his mom, and this is his mom, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm late. Beto hates to wait. Hey, Miklo, you can stay with your Aunt Dolores, huh? Come on, we'll drop you.
And then she gets in a fight with her Aunt Dolores, right? This is a theme that I think is important to touch on. So long story short, Miklo's mom was like, she wanted to live her life too. You remember Baby Boy, right? Mom was like, Mom, you gotta live her life too. This is like something that's going on, and then what happens? The boys get lost. Okay, there's also a consequence to this, right? One of this, his mom wasn't there for him. She leaves, and the sister's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, and then the sister's like, "I want to live. I can't live your life." And then that's what another idea I want to say is like, all these ideas are old. I feel like people these days, they're like, we're going to live, I'm going to be different than everybody. Dude, everybody's been doing this. Like, you're not tight. The people in the 60s, the 50s, your mom, like,
every
you're not
teenager
tight.
that
Every
ever
teenager
existed,
that already did it. Like, whatever you're doing right now, you're not the newest person. It's already happened. So you're boring to me, actually. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I think that's it. Like you said, like it's just like this. It's like this a subtle thing. And I think that, you know, the importance of, you know, he just gets lost. He doesn't have a dad or a mom, you know, and that's important to me, man. So Blood In, Blood Out is an incredibly great movie. It's if you're not from LA, watch it. You'll get a good idea. It's old school. People are not like that anymore. It's just like they really captured it well, the Cholo barrio experience. I didn't really grow up in a traditional. I grew up in a traditional. I grew up with blacks and Hispanics. I would think there's two types of Hispanics in LA. Hispanics that grew up in all Hispanic neighborhoods and Hispanics that grew up with black people.
Like us,
right?
yeah, like us.
And me and I we fall into the people who grew up with black people category. Okay,
so
guys.
We're extra cool. That's his point. We're like extra cool.
Well, you know, everybody's different, right? Everybody's cool in their own ways, right? And I feel like
you're so inclusive today. I love you.
Right, so, all right, man. All right. So that's the Blood In, Blood Out. All right, guys. So Blood In, Blood Out. You know what you guys think about that? Oh, then Chris chimed in too. My brother. He was talking about Arch Manning is going to Texas as American as apple pie. It is, man. That's right. Like, it just works. Texas football, the Manning family, that's dope, dude. I'm all for it. Like, if it was a stock, I'll buy some right now. Like, I want 1,000 shares in that mug. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in. Oh, then I knocked myself out. There was more.
He's going to win. He's going to be a winner. I mean, that family breeds winners.
We're looking good. Oh, yeah, right?
They breed winners.
Yeah. I wonder if they have any girls. Do they have any girl Mannies?
I don't know. I've seen didn't the brothers once go to a Super Bowl against each other?
No.
Didn't they? They never have. They never played
the Super Bowls, but they each win the Super Bowl.
Oh, they
each
did
two. They each won two.
Okay.
So yeah. Shout out to these Latino actors who paved the way and made classic movies for us. Yeah, man. Straight up, man. We all remember them, man.
Yeah.
We all, if you know what I'm saying, it's like everybody just a Miklo.
That's all we had. I was going to say that actually about Blood In, Blood Out. That is all we had at the time. And it's sad because it was perpetuating some stereotypes. And like you just said, we didn't totally identify. It wasn't our upbringing, but it's better than nothing. At least now there are roles that show different Latinos, wealth and Latinos.
Right. No, that's a giant point.
Moves.
I always say that the reason that I gravitated a lot to like black culture, like I'm like our parents are like, well, siempre mira cosa de negro. The thing is that it was the only closest thing to our life experience.
Yeah, I wanted to be Martin.
Right? Yeah,
I wanted to be Gina. It was cool.
It was in the hood. Like it was like, I know. I wanted to, you know what?
But it wasn't like Regina and Cesar. I want to watch that show too. It was Martin and Gina.
The one that I really was a different world. I
freaking
loved
a great show.
I wanted to go to a black college straight up and down, dude, you know? But it's like, Blood In, Blood Out was the few Latino movie that you gravitated to, you know, and it kind of give you, right? The people say right here, get up, Chucky, that's a classic scene.
And then what was that other movie?
Charlie,
Mi Vida Loca. I gravitated towards
Mi Vida
that
Loca
one.
was the girl one, right?
Yeah,
oh, you know what? Mi Vida Loca was good too.
One.
It was a good one. Maybe we'll do that one.
Yeah,
we'll do that one
talk
day.
about
Okay.
that one.
My bad. So moving on, we're gonna run out of time here. So
Did you tell us to stop talking and we went all out?
My bad.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna get into the rabbit hole of the week. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to go down
gosh.
the rabbit hole of conspiracy with me?
Let me hold on.
To the world of the Anunaki. Have you heard of the Anunaki?
Not until you shared that with me recently.
Okay.
I want to learn more.
So the Anunaki, like I said, right here, we're trying to get people into the world of not conspiracies, but of truth finding. Okay, you can do your own stuff. But Anunnaki is somewhere where you end up to when you start looking into Egyptians and all that stuff, right? So it's started with Sumeria. So Sumeria is the oldest known culture, right? The Sumerians, they were the people who settled Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq and Baghdad, which is a big reason I think that people go down there on the low key, right? But they were they found these texts, right? Zachariah Hitchens eventually wrote this book that was the first one that later down about the Anunnaki, but they tell the story of the people who founded the world, right? And their story is that there was these gods, right, from a planet called Nibiru that every 3,600 years it lines up with us, and they were able to come here, and they were like this giant race of people who came here because their planet was dying, but our planet looks good, right? Like the plot of every movie. Prometheus is very much. Have you seen the movie Prometheus? Yeah, it's very much kind of the story that mixed with a little bit of Jesus storytelling, right? It's very interesting. But the Anunnaki were this giant race of people, and they had this own little slave that they brought. Those slave people ran up, kind of revolted on them, but then they squashed them, and they're like, well, we still need a slave people. So they came and they messed with our DNA, and they made us. We're supposedly they're the people who planted, and we're the descendants of them, right?
Of a different planet, though.
Yeah, from a different planet. Right. Yeah. Okay. So then, but the thing is that this text is like seen everywhere, like, and they're also a big part of like the pyramids, right? Like the math. Sumerians are where math started, right? Where lots of language, right? So it's just a lot of people think that because then it's also like the Mesopotamia, like when you see in Mexico, they have the big Olmec heads, right? And then you go to Egypt and they have something similar,
Yeah,
right?
how they build this stuff.
Yeah,
all over
like,
the place.
and then the
Yeah.
thing is also like, yeah, because there's like a giant leap. Like, how did we become like? If you look at the record of humankind, at some point, would you make this giant leap forward? Like they brought in the ideas of organization of how society should be. We weren't even anywhere near that, right? So then they were like, this is like, if you believe in religion right now, my mom was like, estás predicando contra Dios, right? But it's just interesting ideas, right? So it's like the idea of DNA splicing, right? Like there was like this rogue plan that every now comes in, and then the ideas that they might come back, right? And another thing that I think is interesting about them too is that just like many, there's lots of tales about like gods in the past, right? Or aliens to come, like, or angels, right? They always sleep with earth women, right? Like earth women is like this thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. I don't understand. Like women, you're so valuable. Like even in all the like the aliens come and they fuck up all their whole thing because for earth women. What is every war? What is every gang war based on? It's a girl, dude, women. And then you guys just make it so, dude. You guys have always people like girls. You start off life with an ace card. You have a diamond, and you're supposed to you use it wisely. We have a 3 to a 7 or a 9, like just usually every now and then someone got a jack, right? But you guys, it's like. And it's like I wish women would, because it just don't value yourself. I mean, you guys have this diamond that you guys try to the way the world is
value
flipping,
ourselves. We value ourselves.
But
Media might be telling you a different story. We value
right.
ourselves.
I hope you do. Right. It is. Am I wrong? Right?
Do.
Because I feel like when I see like women's dating, it's always like I feel like it's just kind of cheap these days, right? And it's really like it should be hard to get. You guys should make it. You would have more value if you valued yourself more, right? But yeah, the Anunnaki is interesting, right? Because like I said, Prometheus is based on it. Our lunar calendar to this day is based on the Sumerians too, right? The only question I have is I wonder if Göbekli Tepe goes before that. They had this new discovery that people say breaks down the whole history record. Because one thing I think is that I don't believe history, or like the Nazca lines, right? In Peru, you've been to Peru,
yes,
right? You've been there,
have.
Right? You've been to Machu Picchu.
I have. Beautiful.
When you go there, do you feel like could that have been made by somebody else?
I believe the story that it was made by the people there, and I believe that these were highly intelligent people. And I love that fun fact about Machu Picchu is that it was so freaking evolved to get there, so far out of the beaten path that it was really untouched. So it has its own unique culture. It wasn't touched by any of the other cultures, and it wasn't discovered until the modern time. So like how you get there, how
did people get there?
See, there was one explorer that gets credited for it, like this Canadian man that got there.
How did
there was people that settled there, and their culture is their culture preserved. It's like almost not even anyone else but them.
And you never got like any sense of that, of like they never had to, they in Peru, they don't teach anything that maybe an alien visitor came on.
No, gosh, no, we didn't get any of that in the tour. None of that.
You got
had
the
nothing to do with
experience.
aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, the Anunnaki is something interesting. There were these giant races, and then supposedly some other little cool facts is they also are the Nephilim, right? They experimented first, and that's what the Nephilim came. People believe in the Nephilim, the giant people, but they were flawed, right? They would get mad too easily. And then the first one that they made perfect, the first human hybrid was, what was his name? Adam, right?
Interesting.
And it goes connect because a lot of cultures have the same story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I always
yeah.
feel like, but to me that strengthens religion. It's like I feel like there's an ancient tale that we've all been through, right? Whether it be people or it's always like the somebody sacrifices for us to go. And then, like I said, Prometheus is interesting because it touches on those points.
It does.
So the rabbit hole of the week. Go down when you have time. The Anunnaki. There's that one song. What's that one? Con los Anunnaki. Nadie knows. Nadie da reggaetonero.
I will go down that rabbit hole after this show.
All right, guys. So then,
you may think I'm being hard on you right now, but I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm trying to teach you how to be responsible. It's like your little friends across the street. They don't have anybody to show them how to do that. They don't. You're gonna see how they end up too.
all right. Do you know who that is, Irene?
No, who is that?
That's Furious Styles from Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
With
I
the
love
dad when
that
he's talking
movie.
to
Another
his son.
good one.
Man.
You could tell we were 80s babies. all
Yeah,
those
straight
movies.
up, the 80s and 90s, man. The best, the greatest era of all time. I wouldn't change it. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
beautiful
The
times.
greatest. We saw the old world and the new world, man. Straight
Yes.
up and down. All right, so our segment right now is we call this. We call this the things that your daddy should have taught you. Right. So a lot of us grew up without dads, and we had to figure things out the hard way.
Same.
So we're trying to pass down the wisdom. All right. So today's thing that your daddy should have taught you. You see that right there? That's wisdom. I hope that's the Asian word for wisdom. Sometimes it's not. Hopefully nobody got that tattooed. And it's incorrect, right? The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Okay. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Okay. You need to have humility. You need to be afraid of consequences, right? Once you realize, my show is called CZALEO Knows It All, but I know that I know nothing, right? The truth is a wise man, Socrates said that's where it starts, right? So you need to have a fear of consequences, that there is a good and a bad, right? There is no structure, right? I always say here, believe in something, right? That I'm not a fan of atheism. I'm not a fan of the idea that nothing came from nothing and nothing matters. No, that's wrong. And there has to be a structure, right? Without God, without good, the world is savage. The world is a man's world, and a man's world is not a good place. Sometimes I feel that we have a lot of hubris in our times, right? We feel that we're the smartest people that ever lived. Where I disagree. I mean, like even going back to the Anunnaki thing, I feel that there's been other, like there's always end of the world things. I think there's comets that crash. I don't know. I feel like other societies have lived before us.
Agreed. I agree in consequences. I think that's a good thing. Consequences are a good thing.
There's also never been society without any type of, like, you have people organized with some kind of belief system. There's no societies that like we just all here believe in science and truth. It's never show it to me. Show it to me, right? You can't, right? Or you show it to me. You show me Stalin, and you show me Mao's China with 80 million people died. That's what happens, right? So that is something that your daddy should have taught you, right? The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Okay. Last week I said I was gonna do a new segment, but I haven't practiced, and we're gonna skip it. I'm gonna learn a new accent. I want to learn that accent.
I love it. But you were supposed to do it today. Just give it a shot. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's called Parlez-vous. It's supposed to learn London. I've not. I haven't. I barely practiced. How many more minutes do we have, brother? How many more minutes do we have, brother?
Cheerio.
You have 2 more minutes.
Oh. Well, I've had it then. All right, that's my London comment. I'm gonna do a better one. Okay, so we're gonna.
Are you learning a new one every week?
Yeah, I'm gonna learn every week or every other week, and it'll be accents. It's not a new language; it's a new accent, man. I'm gonna do Colombian. I want to do Mexican. I want to do
Australian.
Do some
Spanish
I'll do Jamaican. I'm gonna do Colombian. I'm gonna try to do some Spania. Just all of them, just the different accents of English and Spanish. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay, next week I promise I'll have a better shot at it. Okay, it's been a crazy week. All right, but thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the overall lowering of standards.
Oh my gosh, what are we gonna see here?
Here we go. All right, thank you for being here. This is awesome.
I'm happy to be here, compadre.
This is the segment where I talk about something that bothers me, something that's going on in society that must be addressed, right? Because it just shows the overall. I feel that there's an overall lowering of standards throughout everywhere, and it's bothersome, right? I've seen this country at its best, and I don't feel like we're there right now, right? And that's you know what? And I try not to hate on people. I really don't, man. I really try. In order for me to hate on you, it takes a lot. For Caesar to hate, be like, you know what? You have to earn it. Is what I say, man. It is this lady right here, man. Megan Rapinoe, man. This lady, to me, man, is just so unlikable, man. Let me show you this clip I got of her. This is what she did when she won. What kind of person wins the trophy and then says this?
Maybe.
Dude,
who knows what she was really saying?
That's her whole spirit.
Really?
Her whole spirit is like, it's all about, everything is about me, I hate this country. And then the thing is, though, she also, to me, she stands for the epitome of the mental gymnastics that people have to make, right? And so she's pro women, right? But then she wants trans girls to compete in sports, and she told nobody cares about your daughter's volleyball team. It's bigger than that. The trans women are now more important than girls playing sports, right? But then now the abortion comes, and now she's like, you're attacking all the women. Which women do you care about? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like she's not a likable. Like I said, the thing about sports, where I think that women's sports don't get or need to improve, is that you need to sell it. Okay, just because you make a product doesn't mean that people have to buy it. The NBA became the NBA with Magic and Bird. They sold the storyline.
Yeah, but they also were unlikable. Bird was unlikable. She's unlikable. Sometimes you have to be kind of the voice of dissent, and she's over here fighting for equal pay in this field, right? In this soccer profession. You're not going to be lovely. You're not going to be nice. You're going to be a little cutthroat.
Yeah, but even that's she does not deserve the same amount of money. It's not the same amount of work. But
what, when they win a title, it's not the same amount of work.
It's not the same amount of competition. Or the thing is supplying the men. Like, what makes more money? Like if you do something that makes more money than I do, I don't deserve to pay.
Yeah,
like,
that makes
the
sense.
thing is, the
I
money
get
that comes in. Like I believe that they should have the same percentages, but like at the end of the day, well, who brings in the most money should get the most money.
I get that.
Like, you know,
again, I go back to capitalism. Yeah.
But even like her arguments are because she just presented. She's just bitter. She hates the country. She kneeled down next to the black girl who didn't kneel down during the right, and then there was another girl who was a hardcore Christian, a nice young lady. She got kicked off the team because she didn't want to kneel down, and Megan Rapinoe made sure that she went away. Like there's difference. I feel that there's people who use nice words like diversity and equity, and they use it for they're not actually about it, but they use it as like their shield, right? Or like one thing I always say, the most important thing, like once again, are bad actors. Okay, we have to be able, just because I'm Hispanic, because if I see a fool who's Hispanic, a Salvadoran, I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna tell him. No, I'll be like, no, he's a bad person.
I hear that.
We're only gonna move forward when we are able to call out a bad person. I think that she's a bad actor, right? I think
it's like going to the ballot box and you only pick the Latinos because they have Latino last names,
right?
And they could be the biggest snake, right?
100%.
Yeah.
You know what? That's
that.
a great point. And she gets no pushback. It's like she's like this untouchable person, right? Because there's like this category that they're just like she falls into enough boxes of victimhood where she can't be touched or she can't be questioned. Like, no, if we're gonna take over, we need to be like, you know what, great, but you're a bad person. This is not like revenge time. It's not like we can't be like, oh, we hated the old white Christian man because they did this and this and that, and then we come into power and now we do this and that. We were like, well, they did it, so now it's our turn. No, that's not righteous. Right? We got to be righteous.
But maybe she can't get there being classy. Maybe she can't get there being the woman that you think she should be.
Well, not that I think this, but also like sell her. Like she also has, like, once again, like LeBron and like the NBA, they're losing money. They're mess. Yeah. You have to sell the sport. Yeah. If you want everybody to win, you can't mess up the money. Yeah. Right? Like you guys, the thing is women. All it takes for any women's sport to succeed is for you to watch. Okay, if you all watched it, you guys would all be number one. But so then you want,
but then we don't watch it,
and you're like, man, like it doesn't grow because you don't watch it. Well, sell it to me. Just make them attractive. At the very least, can we get friendliness, femininity?
What do you think about Kobe having been on that path? He was on that path.
Yeah,
if
he was all
lived,
about his daughters.
You think that would have changed?
Yeah, I think he was a smart guy. He understood business. I think he would have understood. Like she wasn't like we would have wanted to see. We would have wanted to see that storyline.
Yeah, he
would
have changed.
WNBA and you've never showed us a good storyline. The very first girl soccer was dope. They took out the shirt. Yeah, everybody loved it. That was dope, right? It was.
But
great,
also, people treated Kobe like they treat Megan. People hated Kobe in the sense of like he's too much. He's too much. He's a bully. He's too much. He's too intense.
But he fought through. He never was like, I hate you all. I'm bigger. The country.
Yeah, he had a class.
He just kept his mouth shut and worked.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He was
just
competitive.
Yeah.
He was competitive.
Yeah.
He was pushing his team. He was one of those. If you want to be first, play with me. If you want to be second, go somewhere.
I love that about him.
So that's why a lot of people think that he was being hated, but he was just competitive. That's it. The problem here is that they're bringing politics to the sport.
Yeah,
and unfortunately. Sports is where people unite.
You represent the country. How are you going to represent the country and can't stand the country?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get the division. I get the division that we're creating. But I'm still with Megan. Team Megan.
I like that chick.
I'm just the person picking the Latino in the ballot box. She's a woman. She's got a vagina. I'm with her.
Subway stock went down.
Oh, because
of her? People don't like her.
Oh, but Subway sucks.
It does. It's terrible. I've always told you that cardboard.
Dude,
food.
I am team. I am team Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, you know what? That's the best slogan. A sub above is the best because it is. It just puts Subway too. Yeah. When I first had Jersey Mike's, I was like, I'll never eat Subway.
Mike style.
All right, we'll be back. Yo, 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 welcome back. CZALEO knows it all. Episode 16 extravaganza. Thick woman, ballaholic, baller logic, clean fade in a fat pocket. That ain't watching. They ain't watching. Anyway, that's me and my rapping. All right, days. All right, my rapping mode. All right, man. So we're gonna move on to the a new segment that I started a little while ago since we got an extra half hour, which I think you'll like, Irene. It's called I call it Hollywood Tales, right?
Ooh.
All right, so that's the kind of long story short.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a segment I use because I feel that people don't understand LA, right? I feel people all over the country. LA is this place that people have one idea. When I go, we'll talk about it with them later. Like they have one idea, but it's really something else, right? It's a crossroads of all kind of people. It's a place that everybody comes to, right? It's one of the beacons of the world that calls all kind of people from everywhere on this earth, and we cross paths, and all kind of things happen that people don't always.
Thank God our parents settled here.
Right.
They could have settled anywhere else.
Dude,
We were LA
this
kids.
The land and milk and honey right here, boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart that I'm sure Irene remembers too, and that's the LA riots. Usually I talk about a person, but today I talk about an event.
Deeply profound.
Right. This is something that affected us all here in LA. Right. There were certain characters at play. Right. This is a period of time that I think nobody really ever asked Hispanic people. Our part of it, right? We all lived through it, right? Long story short, this man right here, Rodney King, right? He was beaten it was one of the first media, like big it was one of those things where one of the first viral things, like the idea of like handheld video cameras got it. Like this is before phones, right? So once the riot, so he went to trial, it was like the first time, we got this, people had all these accusations of police brutality, and the first time they actually got him, they got set free, right? They had the trial over there in Simi Valley. It was like a setup, and all the policemen got off. It was like one of the first time that the world saw the truth of police brutality, right? So, LA people reacted. Like people in Los Angeles, they were not having it. It was like actual rage, right? It was a big time reason why OJ Simpson got off later on.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
it all
exactly.
connects. It's funny how it all connects, right?
Yeah, we didn't want the riots again. So
yeah, so it was like so it was the first what I remember, so the society broke down. People we burned down our own neighborhoods, right? That's the truth of it, right? So the LA people exploded and people were not happy with it. And next, people took to the streets, and for 3 to 4 days, it was looting,
fire,
for this mayhem,
people were tagging sort of black owned on their businesses
everywhere. And I'll tell you a personal story. So we actually we had my mom was always like a business lady. She had a 99-cent store on Western and Norman where it literally started, right? A 99-cent store. I remember that after we had to leave there because everything, society, people don't understand, like society broke down.
Yes.
There was the police. We looted the Alpha Beta at the corner. The police were there just watching. We ran up there and looted. So I'll tell you 2 stories. So the first one with my mom. So then we ended up. I remember that. So that after like 2-3 days, we go look at the office, and like it was a little plaza. We all had each other's back. If you're on Normandy and Western, the little plaza right there behind the Jack in the Box. If anybody knows from LA, right? So we had the little thing right there, but everybody there was cool with us. So we had the black fence. And the windows were all smashed, right? So then my mom went to go see the damage or whatever, right? So then she was like, we're trying to clean up. And she went to go get some food. She left me and Chris there, my little brother.
Wow.
So we're there standing. I'm like, 11 or something, 10 years old. So I'm like a young man. I'm not a man yet, right? And we're just there standing, and all of a sudden these people come. I remember this giant, like black lady and this black dude, right? There's 3 people. And then they were like, they just came in and they just started just jacking, like tugging to, and I was like, excuse me, man. I was like, this is my mom's store. They were like, y'all ain't black, right? But then all of a sudden, like at the corner, because the whole businesses were black too. This man named Leroy, man, he was like, I don't know if he owned the liquor store, but he was the main guy from there. You just hear, get the fuck back. He had a big ass shotgun, dude. And he was like, get the fuck back. And then they were like, man, what you tripping on there? He's like, I don't give a. He did the right thing, He was like, we can't be stingy. What I'm saying? He knew us, So he was like, it was I was just like, I remember that forever, right? And then
that's a personal story. I didn't know you were gonna go that far.
Yeah, man. And then I remember looting, like right there. I was right there in Inglewood. So I remember we all looked outside. This is a funny story about me, a personal flaw of mine that I hate, man. I'm a fat bastard. So
you looted the Popeye's chicken.
No, so it was the Alpha Beta at the corner. I lived on Fur and Arborvita, right? So there was an alpha beta. Everybody like it's going crazy. And my brother, we look outside and everybody on the block is rolling down.
Yeah.
Dude. Fools are coming back with everybody like, oh,
diapers.
So then Andy's like, let's go. But we're like, no, I have. Andy's like, let's go. Me and Andy go.
Oh my God.
We freaking take our money. We make it to the corner, right? We go in there. It's freaking pandemonium. The cops are there watching. Everything is burning at it. We go inside. Andy goes one way. I go, dude, what did I do? I went straight for the TV dinners. When I was a kid, I would beg my mom for TV dinners. I'd be like, oh, I want the sausage. She'd be like, no, they don't come either, right? They're terrible. But in my mind, they were so good. I packed up on like 7 TV dinners. I'm like, hell yeah.
Salisbury
I came
steak.
up, right? So yeah, I was like, I was all proud of myself, right? We get out of there, right? Dude, the next day, the fools from across the street used to all play hoop. Everybody, oh, what happened, dude? These fools, they got the register and they made some fools, they made like $200, right? Which at the time when I was back then, to me, that was like, I freaking ran right past all the registers. I read. It didn't even
and the
occur
electronics,
to me. Yeah,
compadre.
It didn't even occur to me. My fat ass, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I went back to the house and I was like, you stupid bastard. You know, I was like, what is wrong with you, dog? And I was like, I was all happy because, like, you know, and he ended up getting like magazines. He ended up getting all kind of stuff, right? But that's a funny LA riot story that I always remember.
If I were there, I have stories. If I were there, would I have gone for something? Toys. I think at that point in my life, I remember feeling like a little envious watching it on television, like people running out of there with toys for their kids. My personal story was just that it was happening in Inglewood, and I remember feeling like this is scary. This is some scary stuff happening, like supermarkets right on Hardy and like Florence, where my brother had a home, and if I'm not mistaken, some of the family members there, they got hooked up and they got their formula and their diapers and they looted. And my mom was super judgmental about it, super scared. She was threatening us to not go. Yeah, I mean, she was threatening us. She was telling us we better not be out there. None of us. I don't trust that my older brother didn't do it, but you know, I don't know who am I to judge. But I do remember being really scared. And fun fact, like I wouldn't have the career today had it not been for the LA riots, because I work in an organization that helps youth as well as La Latina. And that organization was started because of this. It was a direct reaction to this. And that woman wanted to create a mentoring program to help Black and brown kids through college. And so the organization has existed for about 27 years. I guess it's happened just over 27 years.
That's another point. So overall, like, what were the effects of it? Was it worth it? Was it effective?
I would say for us, it was. It inspired us to get kids to graduate high school and to go to college and sort of change from the inside so that there wouldn't be the Rodney King that was out there doing drugs. Not that we can help every child, but that we could put them on another path. Now, the cops are responsible and that's on them, and they should have been persecuted, right? And they should have been charged.
I feel like, because, you know, it did change the LA. Like, I remember, because back then the cops were racist. Back
a lot of nonprofits came out of that.
Yeah,
that's my point. Like,
so
help the babies, help the kids.
But there was also a lot of things, like, honestly, to this day, there's places on Western Vermont that never got rebuilt.
Never.
To this day.
I know. It's
right?
so tragic.
It's also, another thing is also, like, you know, like, things change, right? But like the same people that were empowered then, the same Ivan Braithwaite,
still in then, still in now.
They're still in now.
They're still in now, and stealing, and stealing.
The same politicians. So people always hear complain about
that's the worst looting.
Institutional, you're right, but the institutions are the same people.
Yeah,
they're the same people in charge. But we always vote them back in because they fit a box. That use a woman like me, she's the same color, and no, man,
the name you know, same name you know.
It you know, it changed the LA. I felt that was a big aftershock of it, right? So, you know, it was, the world needed to hear us. Like, this was a time where I felt like it was justified, you know,
angry.
And you know, it was just I remember there was a tank on Century. Remember there was a tank right there, but where there used to be a Bow's Big Boy on Century and La Brea.
Yeah,
there was a US. I remember, like, damn.
We never got that Bob's Big Boy back. I don't think.
We didn't after the riots. Straight up, it never came back, and it took a long time for LA to recover, man. So just a crazy time in the history of LA, a time that I remember where I'll never forget. I remember when we finally went back. I sucked because I was poor back then, so I only had channel 2 to 13, which means that's all I saw. Like, I didn't have cable, so it was just like, stop talking about it. You know, it was like, it was terrible, dude. And then what was the other part about it?
It defined us. It was our first like 9/11 that defined us.
I just remembered society breaking down, and I was just like, I can't believe this. Oh, and I remember when we went back to school, it was like therapy for like a month. It was like race. It was like, it was not regular school. It was like, okay, everybody was like, today we're gonna talk about
your feelings.
Your feelings. You know, I was like, okay, dude, you know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys. So that is our Hollywood Tales for the day. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So now we're gonna get to know our Right, that's right. That's right, homie. What you all about? I send you a script, but I didn't send you the questions.
I know. Who knows what we're going to talk about now?
So we're going to ask you. We're going to get to know Miss Irene Quevedo, what she's all about. If she's a good actor or a bad actor moving forward for the Latina and Latino community. Okay.
For the leveled up Latina.
All right. So leveled up Latina. So first things first, the question we like to ask everybody here is: did we land on the moon?
Yes, we did. I believe it. I believe it.
Have you seen anything that says different?
No, I have not.
Okay. Have you ever tried to investigate it?
No, I have not.
It's interesting when you get a chance.
I know. I heard you talk about it on another show.
Okay.
I've always believed it, but I think it's like so American to believe that. Like the U.S. versus Russia, the flag, the whole. I believe it. I eat it all up. But I was raised in that time.
Yeah, it's part of the American greatness.
That's why I believe it. Like I don't want to be proven wrong on that.
Because then everything else is like everything. What else?
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, it is scary. No, I get for that. Okay.
Yes, we did.
Would there be a J-Lo without Selena?
No, unfortunately, no, there wouldn't be. But I'm so glad it happened, and I feel terrible for Selena because she was probably going to be the J-Lo, right?
Right.
But we got J-Lo instead, and I'm proud of what she's done. Yeah, but she would no way. There's no way.
Right? Okay.
No way.
All right.
Money makes her, but she's really made it work.
Okay. Where you from?
Inglewood, California, baby. That's right. Born and raised. Really proud of it.
What is that like? What was that like?
Amazing. I look back on it and I'm so glad that was my upbringing, that's where my mom settled, that I went to Inglewood High. It like changed the course of my life. I wouldn't know you had I not gone there. My husband.
And I wouldn't know. Yeah, and I wouldn't know my wife.
So we were meant to be there and I'm really proud of it. And
that's right. Inglewood, Central City.
And it's on the map with SoFi. People need to say Inglewood and not LA. There's a whole nother debate there.
Yeah, well, too bad that the Cowboys are America's team, so nobody cares about them.
Of course.
All right. So anyway, so what's your education? Where'd you go to school?
I grew up in Inglewood, but my first school ever was in West LA. So I always have like an affinity for this side of town, like Venice and whatnot. I went to Catholic school for 4 years. And then the Inglewood system. And then I went to UC Santa Barbara, baby. Got my degree there. And I love being a gaucho. UC Santa Barbara.
You're the second gaucho that we had.
I know. I saw his story was similar to, didn't he grow up in Inglewood?
Yeah,
He went to La Tierra. I went to La Tierra. That was interesting.
The Princeton of the West, as we all know, Northridge is the Harvard.
Yes. We established that on that show. I'm going to echo that since you threw in us in Princeton.
I'll get you. I believe we're all good. Okay. Name 3 Hispanic intellectuals.
3 Hispanic intellectuals. I would consider AOC a Hispanic intellectual.
Okay.
Sotomayor.
Okay. How about that?
SOC.
Yep.
Yeah, I would consider her an intellectual. And let's see who else in another genre that I would say is brilliant. I'm trying to go older. Classic. Gosh, who else? Who invented something great?
Stuff, huh?
Yeah. We don't study them enough, right?
There aren't enough.
Because
Because my
has
argument
someone
is always,
named 3?
No, you're the first person to ask the question.
Oh, interesting.
I haven't asked anybody this question.
I don't want to be a disservice to anyone else.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think it just shows a lack of what I think we need to improve on our Hispanic people is our intellectuals become social majors. We need engineers.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to great schools and they choose to be social workers, which is like
but then there's like the Cesar Chavez of the world. Some could say he's an intellectual. I mean, he did a whole movement.
Do you know Cesar Chavez's views on immigration?
Were they rigid?
Have you ever looked into why he was big? Cesar Chavez hated immigrants.
Really?
He was.
But why would he stand
racist.
for them being?
No, he didn't. He stood for workers who lived here already, California people.
Oh, I hear
he
that.
was super right wing and he hated them.
I hear that.
Whenever you have a chance, look into it. Okay, but
would you consider him an intellectual? Because I think to move people,
he was. Yeah.
I think to inflict change and to be a social justice person, I think that takes a certain level of intellect. So,
all right, that's legit.
There you go. There's your third.
That's legit. I'll give you that one. Okay.
Good point though that it's hard to think of them. I think that's tragic.
A millennial, a Gen Z, a boomer, and a Gen X. They all apply at your job. They're all good. They're all smart. Who are you hiring?
That's a great question. As of late, I actually have been hiring a lot of younger millennials, and it's working out. I did proclaim, and if anyone on my team is hearing this, I did proclaim if it didn't work with this group, they were all out, and I was just going to hire older contractors. Is that terrible to say? I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah, well,
this group is working out.
So this group, why?
They are. There's a lot of wokeness in this. These are millennials, younger millennials, younger than me.
Okay.
Like we're like elder millennials.
Yeah, we're like elder millennials.
And I do think there's a few Gen Z in there. In fact, so my team is a lot younger right now, and I would go younger. I would do it. It's okay. I'm giving them a chance. Someone gave me a chance, but it's risky because I think How you said there's no tradition in that, and there's so much wokeness. It's a delicate.
Yeah, dude,
this is where you and I can somewhat meet in the middle on that. Like,
right.
There's something to be said for traditional and standards and the older ethic? Demographic. Yes, exactly. Or an entitlement to what is deserved through work. I think you have to work hard for things like the perk to get to work from home. You don't just get it.
Right.
Because that's what the younger society thinks happens. You see a lot of stuff on TikTok, social media, where they're like, I want to have lifestyle. Where do you make the money if you want to like sit and be an influencer? Like everybody's not an influencer. No, so I am there. I have to practice what I preach. That's where I've hired, and let's see how it goes.
Everybody thinks that they're exception to the rule.
Yes.
Like the thing is, everybody can't be.
They're the smartest, brightest, and they don't have to clock
everybody's
in.
Everybody's gonna do life different than everybody ever did.
Yeah.
At some point, like people have to do the regular stuff. Like everybody's not super special. Or the thing is that we all go through different periods of life.
Yeah.
Maybe this decade is not your decade for that, but the next decade is gonna be. But everybody thinks that it all has to be right now. I'm gonna miss out on everything.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, I went younger. I hired some younger folks, so we'll see how it goes.
Congratulations.
A few quite recently.
LA Galaxy or LAFC?
That's a tough one. You go for Galaxy, we'll go for Galaxy in this audience. I really don't care. We'll go for Galaxy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're a house divided. We have fans that are all about LAFC in my home, but we'll go for Galaxy. They've been here the longest.
What is Level Up Latina all about? What does that mean?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Level Up Latina was started to help empower women to grow their professions, their personal life, their self-care. We're super pro therapy, pro growth, pro taking up space, some space that we well deserve. And so we coach women. We have a podcast we've had for many years now that give away a lot of free knowledge. We've had a lot of really great guests, but we also work with women at a fee. It's a great fee. I think everyone should have a coach if they don't have a therapist, if they should be able to have both, great. But we are about elevating the woman.
One thing I've been, like I told people right now, the financial things are changing right now. Right now, you guys need to have a plan moving forward. One of the things that's important moving forward is to be a part of a team.
Yes.
Right now, if you work in commissions or you work in sales, things like that, it's not the time to be by yourself.
No.
Right now, it's the time to get knowledge, right? To stuff like that, coaching and all that. It's worth it, right? You're gonna need.
We are 3 in our team. Level Up Latina was founded by three Latinas.
Yeah, right now it's a time where you need guidance, where a lot of people need to kind of pull resources or tell stories of things that have happened in the past, because right now things are going to change a lot. So
there's a lot of opportunity right now, but it is a scary time. I get it. But yeah, Level Up Latina, all about the woman.
All right.
Guilt-free evolution is our tagline.
All right.
We carry a lot of guilt,
Okay, that's awesome.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. Can a Latino man level up?
Yes, we've had clients that have actually been males. Isn't that cool?
Oh, really?
That have done assessments, that have wanted to learn more about us.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. But we didn't name it Level Up Latinx, which I know you would have not have liked.
I got bad love for you, Jackie, but I'm still campaigning right here by myself.
It's Level Up Latina. But see, we still welcomed Latinos.
All right. Okay, great. Quick question. If you could live your life, 3 upgrades. If you could live your life all over again, if you got to live your life all over again, but you get 3 changes. What 3 changes, what 3 upgrades do you do?
You helped me buy a house a long time ago.
That's
you helped me buy a house. I wouldn't have short sold that house when things got tough. I would have found a way to keep it.
Oh, nice.
I would have found a way to keep it. I think like investing in real estate early on would have been good for me. I was in sales early in my life. I probably should have stayed in sales. I'm a good saleswoman. I'm a fundraiser now. I'm a fundraiser now. So I'm still raising money all the time and closing and comfortable with it. But fundraising is like the easier sales. You always kind of eat in this field. Right. But I should have stayed in sales because I think I had that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I had that.
I agree.
And I'm doing it through Level Up Latina.
Yeah.
I mean, I am doing it, but I shouldn't have left. Plenty of years making money. And another upgrade is I think earlier in my life, I should have just been who I am. And I am vocal about stuff like it's okay for Latinas to be rich and wealthy.
Nice.
That's a great upgrade. That's a great upgrade when you know that you can say that it's okay to be wealthy. It's okay to be well off. I don't think that I did that enough early on. And that's an upgrade in my life that I would have been more about that.
That's awesome.
But I am now.
All right. Time. That's right. No,
I should have kept that condo though. Yeah. Imagine what it would be worth.
I know. It's in a great part of town.
I ejected. I ejected out of that.
But we were part of the generation. We all went through that giant. You know what? I think that we don't address that enough, man. That the economic collapse that happened that time. It really, when I look back on my life now,
yeah,
it was a good amount of years it took me to really recover.
I started over. I had to start over my whole life financially.
We don't really talk about it enough, man.
I've made up for lost time, but I wouldn't have sold that.
Me too. But it was, I feel you. Me too. I have a similar story. Okay. Last question here. What message? Oh, I guess it's a similar one, so never mind. What is a woman?
What is a woman? A woman is someone that identifies as a woman. I don't care how you were born. If you choose to be a woman, I'll celebrate you as you are. That's a woman. Anyone who identifies as one.
Anyone.
Anyone.
Any
anyone,
body part
anyone,
hanging on
anyone,
them.
anyone, anyone.
Really?
Anyone.
Okay. All right.
I do stand by that. I think if it was my children that came to me and it's my boys and they wanted to be a woman, I wouldn't keep them from that.
All right. That's Irene's answer. That's Irene's answer.
That's my answer. Anyone who wants to be.
Well said. Diego came in. Hey, we got some spams right here. Uh-oh. We got some spammers.
We got some.
Well, Diego came in already saying, well
That's
said.
my
Amen. That's great. Yeah,
husband.
that's awesome.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry, man, my phone died. Charlie was in the other comments, man. I'm not gonna be able to read them now. My bad, Big Charlie. I'll read them next time, man. I might want to read them. My freaking phone died.
This is fun.
All right,
Thank
but
you.
this is
I love you,
getting to know.
compadre.
Irene, thank you for answering those questions. You made it.
Yes. Level up Latina, baby.
You survived. You survived the round of questions.
A long list.
All right, man. That's I hope so. I hope so. Okay. So now we're the last couple of minutes of the show. So you know what? This is a part of the show that I like to call recap and miscellaneous. Maybe things that we brought up earlier. Is there anything that you forgot to say that you wanted to correct or retract, right? Or an announcement that you have? Anybody? Did we watch the show and everything that you want to maybe bring back up?
I just want to encourage people to listen to my podcast too, if
There
I
you
may. Shameless plug,
Yes,
Level Up
go
Latina
for it.
podcast. We had a really great episode in September about the war on women's rights, and it's really relevant today. But also, we have a really big event coming up September 24th. So if you want to come to an event all about empowerment and getting women together and growing together, doing some professional leaps, come to that event September 24th. So you can go to leveluplatina.com for that information, or go to @leveluplatina on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. I hope you guys heard that. That was awesome. You know, speaking of another event, I went to one this weekend, Chingona community. It was really cool.
You
Shout out
said
to
you love
them.
that.
Yeah.
You look great, by the way.
Oh,
You looked
thank you
amazing.
so much.
doing
It was a really awesome event, man. It was
Yeah.
a really classy event, classy people. We're gonna have some clips of that. I got some clips. I actually met the Mero, the actor from
really?
Santana. So I'll have some clips of that on the next show when I do part 2 of Blood In, Blood Out. Let me see. There's another current event that I think we skipped over that I wanted to kind of bring back up.
What is not happening right now?
What is not happening in
Right?
the world, right? I mean, there's so much. Let me see. Oh, there's this thing going on with an epidemic of sexless men. Have you seen that? Like I saw the
I've
Primos,
heard that people lose their virginity a lot later now.
Yeah, shout out to the Primos Chilos. They were having an interesting conversation about it. I kind of dipped in, and I wanted to bring it up this week, like with the youth, right? Like I feel like there's this. I feel like it's a problem, like especially like with men, right? Like because that's what leads to all these people who act out, right?
Yeah.
Like having like what they're saying, like now with the and then what really bothers me is like the okayness with it. A lot of people are like, well, a lot like young men are like, well, you know, we just don't want to get pregnant, or we don't want like all these like, dude. When I was a young man, when that urge came over, it came over. There was no reasoning. Right?
How we grew up though, Caesar, we grew up in the inner city.
Right.
Like sex was all over rap music. Like we
Right.
were just really advanced.
Well, maybe, but no. But
And not
yeah,
that music isn't, like, grimy and advanced
more
now.
But the thing
Yeah.
is, like, what worries me is like the lack of like picardia.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's weird.
Go for it.
It's strange to me that like these boys, you know, because that's what moves society, that's what moves life, right? And it's, you know, and also goes back to the idea, like with also like, once again, women, like if there's like these things that like the apps, like on the apps, like 10% of men get all the girls.
Yeah.
Like women these days, you guys, you're like, it's like set up. You guys think you're free, but I feel like it's set up for you guys to lose, right? And what happens? There's a lot of. It's like I feel like it's a setup. And I'm here.
We
like,
don't have enough men. You're saying we don't have enough men.
What I'm saying, I'm trying to help you. I'm saying this
Yeah,
from a
that are
place of
going
love.
after it, that are like,
there's-
slutting it around for us,
The
so we
thing
can
is that,
find them.
you guys. The thing is like once again, like you guys have like what's the difference between a shitty door and a key for that before, right? Like the difference between women is like a master key is called a master key because it opens any door.
Yeah.
But a shitty lock is just a shitty lock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That lets anybody open, it can be open by it just so it's like different, right? So
There's problems. There's
it's a
problems. I get it.
problem, right?
I don't
And
want my teenage son
youth-
to hear this,
Yeah,
right?
like
But there's problems.
youth not reproducing enough and not having much sex. It's a problem. Society, like if you look back in society about Romans and any society, right? This is a problem. Like populations
Yeah.
have to grow, and then everybody's going to the metaverse. And what are relations? And if people don't replace people, who's going to do all the jobs? Who makes all the stuff?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Right. And the thing is, it almost feels like I said, I just feel like it's dangerous and something to be. Has that come around your
No, but
sphere?
I'm thinking also like the bigger problem is like sexless marriages. I mean, they gotta produce
is-
too. I
yeah,
mean, that's the
that's
bigger
true.
problem. If you are that as a young adult and then you do go and get married, like that's the bigger, I think, emergency here. Like another thing that needs to be promoted, that sex is okay. You know, it's not a religious thing, good or bad. Like wherever you
Right.
stand on that, it's part of.
Right. Well, here's the thing. You know what?
Humanity.
What I always feel is like, here's the thing is that I feel like it's a balance. Like sex, because the thing is when the sex is too much, okay, it's also like cheap. Because what makes sex great is the wrongness.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, that's
like,
true.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah.
Like,
that
I'm
makes
not
you want
supposed
it.
to.
Yeah.
That not supposed to makes it great. When
The
it's too much,
mystery.
when it's too much, it's like now, like I
know.
told you, like it's Instagram, I'm probably like right back because it's so much. It's just,
like my husband and I, we're too much around you and your wife, and y'all are like, there's no mystery there. They're too much.
You guys are great. You guys help us keep it
They
spicy.
need more mystery.
Nah, they're great. You know what? Yeah, you guys are a great couple to have lunch with all the time.
You won't be sexless hanging around us.
And that's an important thing. If you guys out there, if you have, you guys should all find another couple to hang out with. Right? Anybody who's having marital problems and all that. Find another people that have fun because there's people want to
and that want to stay married.
Yeah, and that want to stay married.
Hang out with
go
those
around
people.
the right people. Yeah, exactly. Don't go around couples that hate each other.
Yeah,
that ends up sucking. You know.
Yeah, sucking the life out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh man, it sucks. Charlie has some good comments, man. I wanted to read them, man.
We can't find those
Yeah,
comments?
I'm sorry, man. But right now we're actually gonna wrap up pretty soon. I want to show love to a couple of things. You too, if you want to give some shout outs.
Great.
I know that we got Vibes Radio coming up soon with TGN here. We're gonna have an R&B station.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so shout out to them. We're gonna have a whole R&B thing going on here at the Good News Network, which is blowing up all over the world.
Yeah.
All right, so check us out. Shout out to the Supreme Court. Just kidding.
Of course you would say that. Oh my
just kidding. Nah, just kidding. Nah. But everybody, don't trip. It's gonna be okay. Go to your state, get involved. You'll be all good, and then hopefully, let's not get on the extremes. Hopefully, people, find their way out who really need it, right? But also, people maybe can make a little bit better decisions. Wouldn't hurt everybody. Yeah. Right? That's what I think. But anything else?
I want to say shout out to TGN doing great things. Big work. I'm really proud of everything. And then just shout out to Healthy Debate. Like it's no secret. We're on other sides of a lot of opinions and that we can break bread and be family and respect each other regardless of where we stand. I think this is a really good example. So shout out to that. And I want to see more of it. I think that avoids civil war. If different parts of the sides can come together and just talk.
I think everybody wants the same stuff, right? Everybody even me.
Do.
I'm not happy with the leadership, but dude, if they get everything back on track, great.
Yeah.
I don't like bad economy. That's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
That's not good for anybody. Like I hope I don't have faith that they will. But hopefully they pull it out. Hopefully the guy pulls it out. Could they get it together, fix everything? That would be great.
And I'm also not happy with leadership. I want it to be Bernie.
Oh, great. All right.
We can agree on that. But thank you for having me. It's been a really good time.
Thank you, Irene. This has been a pleasure. Okay, better women out there. Like I said, don't worry. Don't jump. I always think it's funny too. I always think that we're funny. People who jump to immediately jump to the streams. I always feel like you can always tell character or lack thereof when people don't get their way.
Yeah.
Like immediately, some people say post like really. I mean, I think I try to keep it funny, right? But I think people are immediately like, I hope they all die.
No, there's a lot of angry emotion to get your way. There's a lot of anger that's not going to get your way. That's just you being not emotionally intelligent. Yeah. Like when you go to get mad because you want to win an argument, that's not going to actually help anything.
All right.
My husband's probably going to chime in and be like, "Girl, you need to use that at home."
That's right. With that said, thank you guys. We'll see you next week. I'm gonna have my boy Ace Tuesday here next week. We'll catch you next time. We love you. Comments. You know what? Send me ideas. Send me memes. I always love people who send me stuff. It really gets me thinking. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Peace.
Thank you.